Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Football Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Pipkin. I'm joined as ever by my co host, Mr. Tom Walker.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. New and old listeners, really appreciate the support, and welcome to the show.
It's Easter weekend, so always one of the
Mhm.
best weekends for football, isn't it, Tom? We've got, especially if you're a Football League fan like we are, games come thick and fast. We've got a full fixture list on Friday, full fixture list again on Monday in the Football League. So lots of games. We're going to sink our teeth into the Friday fixtures on this particular pod. That's across Championship, League One, League Two. And then we do have Premier League as well that's spread out over Saturday and Sunday still. So we'll have a look through those as well. So busy weekend. Can't wait.
Yeah, lots going on. For those wondering about Monday and what we're going to be doing for those games, T_FB podcast will be putting out a series of tweets, a little bit more comprehensive than the regular midweek tips. So yeah, definitely check that out. T_FB podcast. That will be going live Monday morning.
Yeah, please do check that one out. Quick touch on the treble from last weekend. That was a bit of a disappointment, wasn't it? It looked foolproof
Yeah,
in paper.
it
It
did.
really
It
did.
did. Yeah. I mean, when Forest Green against Hartlepool and Middlesbrough against Hull are the teams, that didn't get over the line, then you've got no chance really, because especially in Middlesbrough's case, we really thought that was a bit of a banker for them. Forest did come through for us. The boys in red managed to get a win over Birmingham, but ultimately it wasn't enough. And we're hoping to. I'm excited about this week's treble. I'm going to tease it a
Mm.
bit. Tom will reveal it later on in the show, but I'm excited about it. I think it's got legs.
And we've been a bit naughty, haven't we, as well, with one
A
of the
little bit, little
selections.
bit, little bit, little bit. Uh, but yeah, all good stuff. All good stuff. We are, by the way, delighted to be sponsored by Matchbook. So thank you to them for their continued support. You can head to matchbook.com, and if you haven't got an account, you can open one and get a £30 first bet back as a free bet if it loses. So there's a few T's and C's. Obviously, the show in general is for over 18s only. But yeah, just to clarify, it's a £30 back as a free bet offer if your first bet loses. So yeah, definitely check that out. TFB podcast is the code that you're going to need when you're signing up to Matchbook.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, without any further ado, then let's crack on with the Premier League, shall we? Because we've got 4 games in the Prem on Saturday. Starting off at 12:30 with Tottenham against Brighton. Spurs 1.58 favourites for this game, 4.3 the draw, 6.8 for Brighton, and I for one all in on Spurs. I feel like we keep saying it week after week at the moment. They're just steamrolling teams, full of goals. They scored 25 goals in the last 7 Premier League games, so that's what on average over 3 a game, approaching 4 a game on average. So they're really on the money at the moment, looking to make that 4th spot in the league theirs. They have got 6 wins in the last 7 league games. Like we say, full of confidence, and at home to Brighton, I can't see that changing. I appreciate that Brighton won last time out away at Arsenal. Fantastic victory for them. But I think that's an Arsenal side, coming a little bit unstuck at the business end of the season. And I think Spurs away is a much different proposition with the form they're in.
Wobbling a bit, aren't they? Wobbling a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, Tottenham third in the Premier League in the form table over the last 8 games. They've got 18 points from those 8 matches. That's one more than Manchester City.
Yep. Manchester United Norwich then at 3:00. 1.25 for Man U, 6.8 for the draw, 15.0 for Norwich. Crikey, how short are Man U? I appreciate they're at home to Norwich, who are bottom of the league, but the form they're in, which is very yo-yo-ish, I can't be going anywhere near them at 1.25. I don't know about you.
No, listen, United might win this comfortably, but you're not seeing a penny of my money.
No.
United. I looked at goals, I looked at everything, and the -1 handicap, I opened it up and I shut it straight away because I got no confidence in them at all. And little bit of a snapshot of where they are as a club, I think, where me and you don't fancy them that strongly at that price at home to Norwich. If this was
Yeah.
Man City, we'd be saying, yeah, Man City win, move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, up next then, we've got Southampton against Arsenal. Anything you fancy in this particular game? Because I was very much on the fence. Don't know. With Arsenal's form, like we've touched on already, yeah, I'm not quite so sure anymore.
Yeah, and Southampton's form as well. Like really, they looked okay until they threw that crazy result against Chelsea in the midweek. I mean, I for one, just like everyone else, was wondering if they were going to ship 9 as ever, which is kind of their reputation now. I think both teams to score at 1.79 has got value. Let's not forget that Arsenal is still a potent team going forward. Yes, they're going, through a bit of a sticky patch, but you have to look back now. 3 games in a row they've scored, but, in their last 10, 11, 12 games, they've scored in 10 of them. So they're consistently finding the back of the net over a long period of time. We've just seen Southampton a little bit leaky at the back. And they're always carrying a threat, I think, Southampton. So, yeah, both teams to score is where I'd land.
Cool. And finally, then on Saturday, we've got Watford against Brentford. Watford at 2.92, 3.3 for the draw, and 2.64 for Brentford. Watford on a terrible run of form at home. They've lost 9 consecutive home games in the Premier League. And you think, when you're in a relegation battle like they are, home is where you want to be, creating a kind of fortress, picking up your points, making that the place to get the points that will drag you to safety. But they're on a torrid run of form, and Brentford come to town on the back of 4 wins in the last 5 Premier League games. So they've really picked up from where they were, about a month or so ago. Beating West Ham, beating Chelsea in recent weeks. So very impressive for Brentford. I have a couple of things for this game. I was either looking at Brentford to score a goal. That's priced at 1.4, so just a shade under 1 to 2 there for Brentford to get on the score sheet. And Brentford on the double chance. So do you fancy either of those? Brentford double chance is 1.5, so exactly 1 to 2.
Yeah, I like both. Do you know why? It's because I think you can get Brentford on the nose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I do. Watford, you're talking about home form. It's been all season. 7 points they've got at home. It's the worst record in the league. They're propped up by an away record that's better than Southampton, Leicester, and Newcastle. So, yeah, they've got some early, if you remember, they got some early decent results.
Yeah.
Going back a little bit now, of course. 3rd worst defence in the league. It's looking like I think they're going to go down. It would have to be miraculous for them to pull anything off. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. And Brentford kind of playing with a freedom, courtesy of Christian Eriksen, and that potent duo, Tom, of Mbeumo and Toney that have been good all season. I know it's easy to say after last week, but really, let's kind of take a step back. They've been great as a pairing all season, and I expect Brentford to get a win, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Good odds then. If 2.64 for Brentford, if you do want to back the Bees this weekend. Moving on to Sunday then. Newcastle against Leicester. 2.32 for Newcastle. 3.45 is the draw. And 3.4 is the price for Leicester. Again, another one similar to Southampton Arsenal for me. I could see this probably going any way at the moment. I know Newcastle aren't in the greatest of form. Leicester potentially with nothing really to play for in the league. The Europa Conference League is where their attentions will probably lie, assuming they get through in midweek, of course. But yeah, not sure really. How about you?
Yeah, same. You've got Leicester. 62.07% of all of their games have gone over 2.5 this season. And I was thinking, okay, maybe goals. But then Newcastle, 54.84 of their games this season have gone under 2.5. Just when I think Newcastle are starting to turn the corner in terms of the other way, starting to get beat, they pull out a decent result against Wolves. Leicester, one eye on, maybe 2 eyes on that Conference League. No bet for me. Not sure which way to go.
Okay, finally then, West Ham against Burnley is the last Premier League game we're going to cover. That's on Sunday at 2:15. 1.74 the price for the Hammers to get the win. 3.9 is a draw, and 5.3 is Burnley. West Ham, I will go for personally 1.74. I appreciate they've got a tough away leg in the Europa League away at Lyon on Thursday night. Recording this on Wednesday, so we don't know the outcome of that. But regardless, their home form has remained strong, even though their away form has dipped in the league. They've won 4 of the last 5 games at home, beating Everton, Villa, Wolves, and Watford, then drawing to Newcastle. So yeah, form at the Olympic Stadium remains strong. I can't see them. If I had to pick, I'd back them again to beat this Burnley side, who are very inconsistent. On the road, just 1 win in the last 10.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. Got wrote down here. If you're back in West Ham, it's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a very intense, very emotional kind of European tie, as you said, against Lyon. Then the travel, coming back, and then having to have that motivation to get up and go again against one of the worst teams in the league. Like, there's definitely red flags here with West Ham. But, to use a classic line, this game is played 10 times. West Ham win 7, maybe. 7, 2 draws and a Burnley win, I'd say, out of a 10-game series. So we're going with a 70% chance, I reckon, of West Ham.
Yeah, agreed. Right, that boxes off the Prem then. Let's quickly talk about our sponsors at Matchbook and how you can get, again, that £30 free bet sign-up offer. And then we'll move into the Football League.
Yeah, so it's worth highlighting as we move through the show and we get towards the podcast treble, you can use this offer on our exclusively enhanced treble. It's preloaded on the website, so you just have to go to the search bar and search podcast. TFB podcast treble should come up. It'll be preloaded and exclusively boosted by Matchbook, where it won't be beaten. And again, you can use that offer, which was a £30 back as a free bet offer if your first bet loses as a new customer. So it's essentially a risk-free opportunity to back us if you believe in what we're tipping out, or another bet if you don't. And it's for over 18s only. A few little T's and C's. So make sure you give them a read before you sign up. But please do so, because you'd be supporting the pod and Matchbook, who have been great to us all season. Tom, EFL, this is where it really kind of starts getting juicy with the 2 games within the space of 4 days, and a lot riding promotion, relegation, playoffs, etc. So I love the Prem, but I'm really excited to get into the EFL.
Yeah, big time. And very much feast and famine I found across the EFL this week. So Championship, feast. Lots that I liked the look of here. Not so much in League One. We'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, Championship, let's sink our teeth into this. I'll get us kicked off with Sheffield United at home to Reading. I like the price of Sheffield United. It's 1.59. They're one of the shorter priced teams in the Championship this week, but I'd say for good reason. Reading on the road under Paul Ince, they've won just 1 in their last 10 away games, so they've not got a particularly good away record. Sheffield United, on the other hand, at home, very, very good. Unbeaten in their last 14 home games. They've won 5 of the last 7 at home, generally keeping lots of clean sheets along the way as well. And it would be in the coupon buster category if Reading got something, I think, against Sheffield United, considering Sheffield United also need to get the win to really kind of further their playoff push. I'd say Reading are nearly there in terms of survival. The teams below them aren't picking up anywhere near enough points. They did get a win last weekend as well, did Reading, so that eased some of their worries. So yeah, I think everything riding on the game combined with Sheffield United's home form should see them get 3 points fairly comfortably this weekend.
Yeah, that was my point. Will Reading now take the foot off the gas a little bit because they're almost there?
Yeah,
possibly. Let's talk about Huddersfield 2.02. It's not often, Tom, that you can get a team, who are lying in third at over evens at this stage of the season. But clearly, there's still a little bit of mistrust from the punter side of things, and from sports books, etc., etc. And with good reason, a lot of people didn't expect Huddersfield to get here, and they have played the joint most amount of games in the top six. Teams like Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest have 2 games in hand on them. And they're playing against a QPR team who are sadly bottom of the form table. That's all 24 teams. That's including Peterborough, it's including Derby, it's including Barnsley. They've got 3 points from the last 8. Rumours that Mark Warburton will be shifted in the summer when he's out of contract anyway. So lots of disappointment. I think it's summarised best. QPR to get in the playoffs at the moment, they are 40 to 1 to get into the playoffs. So, if you told me that, Tom, a few months ago, I would have laughed my head off. I would have wondered what's going on. It's only 4 points, but 4 points, is a lot, especially when they've got, 4 or 5 teams ahead of them in the queue. Huddersfield won their last 2. They continue to surprise. They continue to get the job done. They are not going away. They got the win impressively, I thought, Tom, at home against Luton last time out. A 2-0 win. Previously they beat Hull. I don't give them as much credit for that. But yeah, definitely Huddersfield, a team I got my eye on. 2.02, great price.
Yeah, very much like that one. Had it myself as well. Let's be brave. Let's potentially go the bit of heart over head here, and let's go for Nottingham Forest away at Luton.
Here we go.
Here we go. Is that a worried aye?
No, it's just like, I don't know. I'm not sure how to behave with our team doing so well. It's just a unique position. I don't know whether to be proud. Well, I am proud of them, but I don't know whether to get behind them or.
It's strange, isn't it?
The pessimistic side of me is trying to leap out as well.
Yeah, well, we're not used to this, are we? It's been a long time since we've been used to winning games, winning plenty of them. Yeah, 5 wins in a row for Nottingham Forest. They go away to Luton in the lunchtime kickoff in the Championship this weekend. 2.62 is a prize for Forest to get a victory. And I think the momentum factor is the one for me. 5 wins, as I mentioned, in a row. 6 wins in the last 7 Championship games. I can't see this team stopping at the moment. And add into that the fact that suddenly, with Bournemouth dropping points, it's kind of teasingly opened the door that we're just 6 points behind them in that second automatic promotion spot. And we have to play them still. So that could be 3 points, that we can make up on them there. So yeah, it's tantalising. It's giddy how high we are and how well we're doing. It's weird. And I'm going to back us to get another win this weekend because I don't see why we wouldn't. The way we're playing full of confidence. The team is settled. Everyone believes in what Cooper is doing and the way his methods and everything. The fans are on side. Yeah, it's brilliant. Luton themselves had that fantastic run where they got into the playoffs, have really cemented themselves within there. Kind of got off the ball a little bit in the last 3 games, losing, as you mentioned, to Huddersfield 2-0 last time out. That was on Monday, so they've had a much shorter rest period compared to Forest, who played on the Saturday. They also drew to Peterborough and Millwall in the 2 games before that. So they've kind of put in 3 subpar performances in a row. And if you put in a subpar performance again on Friday against Forest, they'll get beat. And I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Luton, very streaky. I feel like they've been awful for spells. They've been absolutely untouchable for spells. And, obviously they've won more than they've lost, which is why they're up there. But yeah, maybe they're on one of their wobbly streaks. Let's talk about Swansea, Tom. We talked last week about Swansea using this kind of free-flowing end of season, mid-table vibe to put together some form. And they did so. They beat Derby at home pretty comfortably. Similar assignment here. Barnsley absolutely fighting for their lives on paper. but it doesn't really feel like it. Going down 4-1 away at Millwall, drawing at home to Reading, losing 2-0 away at Sheffield United. It's not exactly the kind of great escape act needed by Barnsley. I think Swansea, Joel Perreault hit 20 goals this season. Michael Obafemi's been in excellent form. I think you'll get Swansea, to be honest, with a comfortable routine win, 1.79.
Yeah, completely agree. You talk about Barnsley not really offering too much in their fight to escape relegation. I feel like that's a common theme across all the leagues. I'm really looking out for a team who's trying to perform a
Yeah,
great escape across every
yeah.
single league, and there isn't one really, unless I missed it. But I don't think
No,
I
I
have.
think even Carlisle and Oldham, who were going on that great escape run, they've started to fade. Maybe it'll be Stevenage. That's the only one that comes to mind, really.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, not lots of sinking going
yeah,
on
yeah.
at the
Literally,
moment.
literally,
Yeah,
lots of sinking without a trace, really,
yeah.
for a little fight. But yeah, completely agree with that one. What else do I have? I've just got one more. Peterborough against Blackburn. The tip I've got is both teams to score in this particular game. So the price for that one is 1.86. Peterborough no clean sheet in the last 12 games. So again, we're speaking about teams going down without a trace. If you can't keep a clean sheet, you'd stand little chance really. Blackburn themselves without a clean sheet in 5 consecutive games. Both teams have scored in 6 of the last 7 Peterborough games, so they are occasionally hitting the back of the net too as well. And when these sides have met, 6 consecutive games have been over 2.5, and 5 of the last 6 have been both teams to score. So it's one of them games you kind of see a lot of positive goal stats. In terms of both teams getting lots of both teams to scores, head to heads, plenty of both teams to scores, and over 2.5s. So yeah, I can see that again. So 1.86 is the price for this one. Again, 2 teams with things to play for. So if there's an early goal,
Yeah.
particularly one way or the other team's kind of got to go out and really try and get a goal back. Peterborough for their survival chances, Blackburn for their playoff chances.
I think that's an excellent point that we can kind of copy and paste from now until the end of the season when it comes to both teams to score.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point.
Any more in the champ for you, mate?
No, moving into League One, I'm going to get us kicked off with an absolute eyebrow raiser.
Can't wait for this.
2.3 is the price, and it is AFC Wimbledon
Ooh.
away from home against Crewe. Now, the stats here are absolutely incredible. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm backing a team that hasn't won in their last 24 games against a team that has lost, I think, 15 of 18. So not going to be the prettiest game. But I do fancy Wimbledon. For those of you who don't really follow League One and, especially the bottom of League One, so Mark Robinson, the Wimbledon manager all season, a few weeks ago, relieved of his duties, mutual consent. Mark Bowen brought in a much more kind of reputable name, someone who isn't necessarily promoted from within, but someone who, has got a previous for doing a decent job elsewhere. Now, he has managed to get a couple of draws. Those draws have been at home against Charlton. That's decent. The draw against MK Dons, very impressive. Sure, MK Dons dominated the ball, created more chances, as you can imagine. But Wimbledon carried a threat, and it was a miles better performance under them, Bowen. We've got no manager news in terms of the long term at Crewe. They dispose of David Artell on the weekend. Alex Morris is in as a caretaker. Obviously, this could be a case where they've stumbled across the new Guardiola and Morris comes out and Crewe win 5-0, sure. But I think, Crewe are down, they're relegated, they're finished. It's the kind of hunter against the hunted vibe almost, where Wimbledon really need these points, like desperately. You talk about a team trying to fight for survival. Wimbledon need wins. And I think they've turned a corner ever so slightly under Bowen. And I think Crewe are in an absolute tailspin, essentially. So I think you'll be able to get Wimbledon to get a win here. And what was the price that I read out? 2.3. So above evens.
That is a bold pick, isn't it? This is a hair raiser. But
It is.
I can certainly see your justification for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks,
right, I'm going to basically copy and paste what I said about Peterborough and Blackburn for Fleetwood against Oxford. You got Fleetwood, who are battling for survival in League One, and Oxford, who are chasing the playoffs. So, as it stands, Oxford are in 8th, 4 points outside. Fleetwood are in 19th, and they're just outside on goal difference as it stands. So both teams still with plenty to play for here. Both teams to score is priced at 1.84. 7 of the last 8 Oxford games have been both teams to score, and 5 of the last 7 Fleetwood games have been both teams to score. So, these are two sides who are struggling to keep clean sheets, but also are capable of getting goals. And again, because they do have things to play for, neither can really take a loss here. They both need to try and win, or at least get something from the game. So, yeah, if there's a goal, one way or the other team really has to go out and attack. So that's where I think we can take advantage of the good price for both teams to score again.
Yep, love it. I think we've got to hop to Saturday because there are 3 League One games on Saturday. We've got to point out Wigan, haven't we? 1.36. Home to Cambridge. Read a great stat, courtesy of the 72 on Twitter. So Wigan, after the season ends, they would have been in the last 5 seasons that they would have been in League One. If they go on to win the title this year, they would have won the title 4 out of 5 times. So it's a very happy hunting ground for Wigan. They've got a great record of going down, winning the league, and just coming straight back up. So it's looking like they might do that, especially with Rotherham wobbling at the moment. 4 points clear of MK Dons in second with a game in hand. They're looking absolutely relentless, and I don't see why a kind of lower mid-table Cambridge side would stop them, even though, they did scupper us, Tom, when we backed Ipswich the other week. So maybe that will happen again, but I think Wigan are a lot better than Ipswich.
Yeah.
Well, obviously the league table states it. That's what a genius comment from me.
One more from me. That is in Sunderland against Shrewsbury. So Sunderland I'm going to go for here. 1.76 is the price for the Black Cats. They're not a team I like backing, to be honest. I feel like they've let me down a lot. So hopefully they won't do this weekend. They've not lost in 8 consecutive games, so they're on a good run of form. They've won 4 of the last 5 games, including 3 in a row at the Stadium of Light. It's just the fact for me that they've got everything to play for here. They're in 5th place. They're in the playoffs. Shrewsbury don't have anything to play for at the moment. They're just a mid-table. We've said, I think you said a few weeks ago, they're an example of a side who are kind of on the beach but playing well. I can't exactly remember how you phrased it, but they're using the end of, like Swansea, using the end of season time pretty wisely. They're not just going into games being beaten fairly regularly. They're putting in good performances. So it does concern me a little bit, but yeah, needs must for Sunderland. They need to get the win. They're on good form, especially at home, and they should have the confidence and the momentum to get another 3 points here against Shrewsbury.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. League One, I think it's done and dusted for me. Don't know about you, Tom.
Agreed. More famine than feast, as we touched on.
Yeah. So let's move into the 4th tier of League Two. Now, I mentioned these earlier. I'm going to back Stevenage. They are at home to Gillingham. Again, a lot of narrative.
They can't.
Sorry?
They can't be at home to Gillingham. Gillingham are in League One.
Bloody hell, not Gillingham, Rochdale. Bloody hell, Rochdale. I think it was the Steve Evans Gillingham thing. And the fact I saw in my notes here, I saw the blue of anyway, whatever. Made absolute clanger from me. Okay, Stevenage. Let's get back on track. They're 2.46. I am plucking out some big priced tips this weekend, but yeah, this is all on the same kind of thing I was talking about earlier with Wimbledon. Stevenage came in. Steve Evans lost his first game. I think people get too kind of caught up in the immediate impact. To me, immediate impact is the first, 6, 7, 8 games, not just one. And he proved it. He lost that game against Oldham, and then followed that up with a very impressive away win at a, kind of, I'm not going to call Colchester resurgent, but they were making the right movements and they were looking okay. So Stevenage got that win. Rochdale, they are also down, towards lower mid-table. They're not going to go down, I don't think. But they're picking up the occasional win that is impressive, the occasional loss that you start to question what's going on a little bit. They are very up and down in terms of their results. It's kind of a win one, lose one situation. And I think I've seen enough from Stevenage to go up. Can you imagine how terrifyingly motivating Steve Evans is in a relegation battle?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be screaming. Yeah. Very direct style of play. So they're going to put Rochdale under tons of pressure. And I can see Evans getting another win. 2.46. I think it's a comfortable opposition they've got.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a stage of the season where these sides down the bottom, who we wouldn't usually back, they're bound to pick up some wins, aren't they, along the way? Some of them. So
yeah, they get desperate. The performance levels pick up.
Yeah. It's a good price. I like it. Rinse and repeat from last week for me. Mansfield at home to Sutton. 1.91 is the price for Mansfield to get the win. They've won 11 consecutive home games, so let's just back them to get a 12th consecutive win at home. They've been good to us week in, week out in terms of tipping them at home. So let's roll with it again. Looking for a 12th win on the spin. Sutton away, this season, meh, particularly in 2022. They've won 2 away games in their 8 games they've played away from home in 2022, so it's not a particularly great record. They've won just 1 of the last 6, losing 3 of the last 4. And when they've played away against teams who are kind of higher up in the league, so we're talking like the Port Vales, Swindons, Bristol Rovers, they've lost every game. So yeah, I think same result again this weekend against Mansfield, who are just seem unstoppable at home at the moment. So with 2 games to come for Mansfield against Forest Green as well, they'll definitely be thinking we need to get 3 points here.
Yep, agreed. We're not going to be able to do this for much longer, so let's back the team playing against Scunthorpe. 1.52 for Leyton Orient. I mean, Scunthorpe are bottom of the actual table, the form table, the home form, the away form, the attack, and the defence. They are one of the worst teams at this level for a long time. Relegated, pretty much. We're just waiting for the final nail. It could be this weekend. And Leyton Orient under Richie Wellens, another team, Tom, who are using the kind of comfortability of the end of the season to get their act together. Yeah, sure, they've lost some games. They've also won some games. Decent wins against Harrogate, Barrow, obviously Walsall as well, that's decent. Losing against Sutton and Oldham, less decent. But I fancy anyone against Scunthorpe. They're desperate for this season to end. Absolutely desperate. And they're short, Leyton Orient, but I totally get it because Scunny are basically National League at best.
Up next, then, I will go for Port Vale away at Hartlepool. Nice price here. 2.18 is the price for Port Vale to get another win. Doing really well at the moment. Up to 3rd in the league, so occupying that 3rd automatic promotion spot. They've won 4 in a row, no losses in 8, and they travel to a Hartlepool side who sit comfortably in mid-table. job done for this season. Cemented their place in League Two for another year after getting promoted from the National League last season. They've not won in 4 now, not kept a clean sheet in 6. So, you look at that kind of record and you think they very much fit the on the beach kind of mantra. I think at home they've not won in the last 5 games. Port Vale, 7 wins in the last 8 games, including 3 in a row away from home. So some impressive wins, especially the most recent one against Salford 1-0, because Salford themselves doing pretty well. So I think Port Vale, with the momentum they've got, the form they're in, chasing automatic promotion against this very much on the beach Hartlepool side, I think they can get another 3 points, and it's a nice price to boot.
Yep. Exeter, next one up, 1.65. Early kickoff here against Colchester at home. I think it's going to be the year. I really do. Obviously, we've had false dawn
Surely
after
not.
false dawn
Surely.
with Exeter. Surely it's going to be the year now. They look absolutely fantastic at the moment in terms of wins. It's 5 wins in the last 6. That 6th game was a draw. They have won 11 games at home this season, drew 6 and lost just 2. So a very strong record at home. They haven't lost to Colchester at home in the last 9 games. So Col U, not good travellers to Exeter. Exeter also with 5 clean sheets in their last 6. So, really tight. I normally associate Exeter, and they have been good going forward, but I normally associate them with, I normally associate Exeter with a great attack and not a great defence. I think that's probably poor education on my part and kind of going off the last few seasons and what I feel like as a whole. But they got the 4th best defence in the league. Like I said, 5 of the last 6 games have kept a clean sheet. And they are still decent going forward. They've got a 7th best record in the league. Col U picking up for sure. This is about as good as I remember them since we started the pod, really. They've managed to string together a few results, but surely the way that Exeter are playing at the moment, the need for promotion, the desire for promotion from that club will see us get a home win.
Yeah, completely agree. Had that one down myself as well. And that for me is a wrap, unless there's any more that you want to tip out there.
So we're just going to skim over last week's again. So we had Forest Green. They drew with Hartlepool 1-1. We also had Middlesbrough to beat Hull at home. Middlesbrough kind of falling off a little bit. They lost at home to the Tigers 1-0. Maybe it was the rumours of Mesut Ozil going to Hull that helped out there. And then Nottingham Forest played against Birmingham and got a comfortable home victory. But it wasn't enough. We move on to another week of Matchbook exclusively boosting the podcast treble.
Yeah, it does. So this week we're going to go for a treble that's going to run throughout the day. So that's how we're going to frame this one, as a way to get in a naughty early kickoff. So we've got a game at 1 o'clock, a game at 3 o'clock, and a game at, I believe, 5:30. So nice bit of entertainment for everybody all throughout Easter Friday, Good Friday, I hope. So we've got Exeter starting us off at home to Colchester, moving then to Sheffield United at home to Reading, and then finishing off with Huddersfield at home to QPR. So Matchbook will, of course, as ever, have the industry best price on this treble. It'll be pre-made on the website. It's going to be minimum odds of 5.5 because that's the current best. So Matchbook will undoubtedly beat that. That's their price promise on this treble. So please do check that one out. And like Tom mentioned before, you can use the code TFB podcast to get your £30 money back as a free bet sign-up offer to take advantage and try and test out the treble. Hopefully you'll win a bit of money.
Yeah, please do support us on that, and please do follow us on Twitter. Great time to do so because we're going to release a little bit more of a comprehensive tip style on Monday morning. So I'm going to put everything together there. T_FB podcast. Get that notification bell ready hit that. You'll be notified on your phone as soon as the tips come out, and then you can be armed to attack the day responsibly, of course.
Yeah, so if you have enjoyed the show, guys, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave a rating or review wherever you listen to your podcast. Tell your mates, share it on social media, do all that good stuff. We'd really appreciate that. And I think that is pretty much everything, I think, for this week, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, received a couple of DMs about fantasy football. We've omitted the updates for a couple of weeks just to keep the time down. So there will be a fantasy football update, maybe on social media, definitely on next week's show.
Yeah, and I think I'm doing crap. You're doing crap. The enthusiasm for fantasy football doesn't seem like it's there at the moment for
We're
us.
on the beach.
However,
we're on the beach.
we are on the beach. However, we will come back to it in next week's pod, give everyone an update on how the league is doing. And there is still the £20 free bet for the current league winner. So, yeah, that will still be, of course, on offer for the end of the season.
Yes, indeed. So thanks very much. Happy Easter, and we'll speak to you soon.